Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday night. My name's Ken Close. Here we are in the middle of August. Wow. It's summer's winding down a little bit here. But I'm excited for the fall and the back to school and all the activities, people getting back on schedules. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. Hey, thanks for coming in today, you guys. I see some familiar faces, and I think we've got some new folks here tonight. Let me tell you what we're going to do. I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Jake Barron from operations here in the Americas. Hi, Jake.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello. And then in the background, we have Henry, that is our CS agent representative. It's with the lightning fingers, going to be helping out in the background. So say hello to Henry back there, everybody. Here's what we do on Tech Tip Tuesday. We bring your questions to the chat. So throw them in the chat, and then we will unpack those. We will research those. We will solve those mysteries. So feel free to put your questions in there. What we do talk about or try to answer is things around the apps, the blue dot, the pink dot, things around the hardware, things around the programs themselves. We even talk about theory, all kinds of fun stuff. So don't be afraid to ask your questions in there. What we won't be talking about, or what we can't really talk about, is how to prevent, treat, or cure any disease or disorder. We can't really give you some recommendations on which programs to use for what condition. That's what our HealAdvisor search app is for, which is a great resource. But everything else, we're pretty game. So it's pretty flexible here. So go ahead and throw your questions in the chat and let's get started. How about that?
Okay.
And of course, if you guys don't put some in there, we'll start talking about theory anyway.
That's
Might
right.
as well.
Always something to talk about.
There's always something to talk about. All right. So Sherry put something in here, says my Healy will not connect today. It's not finding the Bluetooth, so not finding my device. That's interesting. So couple things there in terms of creating connectivity. What I always say is, number one, making sure that all of the apps in the background of your smart device are hard closed. Make sure they're all hard closed, so that we've got lots of free resources for the Bluetooth to seek and connect. And then, of course, there's a sequence. Probably, I find this really often where folks are they're turning their Healy on first, and then they're opening the app, right? So the secure way in which Healy connects to your smart device is the other way around. So it needs to first have the Healy powered up, and then you open the app, because the app then looks for a signal that the Healy's putting out, and then they marry up. Okay, so those two things are very important. Looks like, Jake, you want to add anything to that?
No, yeah, that a lot of times that does solve the problem. People don't, realize what all they have going on in the background. And yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, just completely also just, restarting the phone, to sort of clearing that. A lot of times we don't realize how long it's been since we've done that. I've certainly gone weeks at a time, probably a month or more, without restarting the phone, because until you have an issue, you don't know what all sort of building up on there. But it's always good to take care of that and do a fresh sort of start and let the phone go through that whole reset process. But
yeah, there's what we do, what I call a force reset on the Bluetooth system within the smart device. So with the Healy turned off, you would go into your settings on your smart device and turn Bluetooth off, and then turn your smart device off. Okay, then turn your smart device back on, and then turn your Bluetooth back on. And that kind of does a reset on all resources. The smart device itself does have a processor, a CPU, like your computer. And it needs to go out and connect to all the different peripherals, which Bluetooth is a peripheral. It's actually a program all in itself, but it needs to reconnect to that. So that's a lot of times that is the challenge. is that interface between the CPU and the Bluetooth on your smart device, not necessarily Healy. Okay, so try that out and come back and let us know.
Okay, we had a question here about, there are so many programs that Healy has to offer. I have no idea what some of them are for. I mean, yeah, there's 200 plus programs, and yeah, that certainly is. There's definitely something for everybody, but as far as, okay, which ones should you actually use, and trying to find out a little bit more about them. Henry put into the chat here that there is a link in your Healy Pink Dot app at the bottom. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, go to information, and then you can go to, there's a manual section, and that's going to pull up the manual for the Healy Pink Dot app. And it has a description of each of the program groups along with each of the programs and recommended. It shows what the duration is for each program, that kind of thing. So that's definitely worth checking out. Just note, though, the one that's linked within the Healy Pink Dot app isn't the most recent version. So it's fairly up to date, but it doesn't have some of the newest programs that we've added recently. So I'm going to show you real quick another spot that you can get that. Sorry, go to share. Okay, so in back office, if you go to your download section, so this is just the main page. If you, this is the main Healy back office, my.healy.world, log in with your credentials there. And then you're just going to go to, after this loads up here in a second, we're going to go to tools, downloads. And then from here, you'll see that you can pick the different countries. So here in the United States, we would look for documents from the US, but if you're helping somebody in another country, possibly that you're, that's in your group, and they don't know where to find some documents, you can go to, say you want to go to Germany. They have a bunch of the documents, of course, in German. You can kind of send them stuff as well from here. But in general, you're going to go to the US, which is where it defaults for us US members here. And if you scroll down, you're going to see manual Healy app. And then if you click download, it's going to open this up. And you'll see here, this version, there's a version number on the right side here. It's 2022-0510. So May 10th of this year. This is the most recent version. And this is a 45-page document. So if you're looking for more information, this is definitely the spot to go. I know you mentioned in the chat that you've seen a 2-page file for the Pink Dot programs, but this one, it goes through each of the program groups, each of the programs. It actually tells you a little bit about how the Healy Pink Dot app works in general, the different phases that it goes through when you start a program, from real time to resonance to selection mode. And we've definitely found that a lot of people, you get your Healy, you have the instructions for use that come with it, but the actual printed manual is not in the Healy box because it'd be a massive document and have to be printed in so many different languages. So this is an excellent resource for anyone that maybe has not gone through it or hasn't gone through it in a while, since some of the newer program groups have been released. So you see here, just from the Gold Cycle program, there's a details on each of the programs. And then as you go down, you'll see that we have some of our newer program groups that you might want information on, such as we have the Power of 3 programs. There's a whole section on how the natural cycle works and instructions on that. All the different meridians there, the additional functions that are included with the app, how to turn off the Bluetooth chip. We get this question a lot on Tech Tip Tuesday. So there's a little guide on that, how to change the current level, information on using the coil with the Healy Pink Dot app. So again, if you're looking for more info, this is definitely the spot to go first before you search anywhere else. Ken, anything to?
Yeah, Jake, scroll back up to that page that shows all of the program pages.
The table of contents?
No, it was there's a page there that shows essentially a picture of each of the program pages here that you have. So, I mean, you mentioned that it was over 200. There's like 200.
I think it was.
It's up about page 12 or 10 or
this?
there it is. There it is. So take a look here. And each one of these program pages has up to 12 programs on it. So just do the math there. There's a lot of programs here. And so that's, pretty well covered in this manual. So that's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah. So for sure, that's the spot to go for anyone seeking more information.
Yeah. And it changes a lot. So I don't know if I'd print it out just yet, but it does.
No, yeah, you can
Nice
just
thing
know
to
you
have.
can always get the most recent version there from your back office. So.
Yeah. Okay, so kind of connected to that question down a bit further. She asks, so something about my sister asked to use Healy on an animal sanctuary. Would it be input as a business or animal? It's a great question. Or should it be input as two clients? One is a business and the other for animal. Or would group be best? So again, what's the entity? Anytime that we're looking at scanning an entity, if it's a person, well, that's easy. It's a person, you choose a person. If it's an animal, you do so there. If it's a group, a building, whatever. So they're very specific in terms of what the entity's description is. So use your best judgment. If you're looking at trying to find out something for the entire business, the sanctuary itself, not just one animal, but the whole group, then you're going to want to look at it as a whole, as a group. If you just want to maybe work with just one specific animal, then yeah, then you would just choose one specific animal. And you'll notice that the information that's asked when identifying this client will be different between if it's an animal or just an animal or a group. Same with being different if it's a group or a building. So great question though. And I would certainly just say, what is it exactly that you're trying to analyze?
Yep.
Okay.
So this next question, Ken, I feel like I should be the one to read it because of this nice compliment we have in here. It says, Ken, being at the young age like you, what programs do you run when you exercise? And I know, Ken, you've mentioned this a lot on this call, the different programs from the fitness group and stuff that you run as well. So give us your secrets.
Yeah. Well, I do believe in anti-aging. I do believe that the mind is stronger than the environment. So make sure that first of all, that the mental attitude is set in the proper arrangement. But when it comes to fitness, when it comes to the body, we just need to look at things from kind of a practical sense. And I'm an engineer, so I look at things in terms of practicality as well as principle. So if I am actually working out, in other words, I'm doing a physical exercise, then I want to promote the structures in my body that are doing the work. So what structures of my body are doing the work? Well, of course, the skeletal structure is doing the stabilization, but the muscles are doing the movement and the load bearing. So I run the muscle program from the fitness page while I'm actually lifting, while I'm actually doing the exercise protocol. But I also kind of have a little bit of a hack. I simultaneously will run the coil on another Healy on my body. It's again at the same time. So how would I complement the muscle structure, aka the microcurrent, with what program would I complement it? So on that same fitness page, there's one called strength. So when you're sending the signaling content to the cells, this is just an energetic influence, right? And the microcurrent going through the body is increasing ATP production. It's increasing protein synthesis. It's increasing amino acid transport, which is what? All of the things the muscles need to perform, right? And to expand and grow. And then, of course, acclimate to the load. So I'm running the microcurrent in the body, addressing muscle. I'm running at the same time a magnetic signal with the frequencies of strength so that the genetic code is being signaled for strength. So what kind of muscle? Strong, right? So I do that. You probably would not, my exercise program is not what you might think. I've down regulated it because I'm using so much more efficiency in my life than I ever did before. Just remember that every time you have a discouraging thought or a lowering of vibration from the emotional side of the body, and you're working out and you're like, I'm going to work out because I'm mad, because I've got to take out some stress. Well, you're actually down regulating the muscle structures you're creating at that time. You're using vital energy for building the body just to simply support the lower vibration emotion. So I shifted all that belief years ago, and I'm telling you what, all of a sudden energy for repair, recovery, and growth went through the roof. So I found that I can actually exercise less and obtain the same abundance, I guess you might say. So keep the mind right, and then hack the heck out of your workout with this energy technology.
All right. Ken's fitness tips.
Fitness tips. Now remember, you got to still eat properly. There's still the chemistry.
Yeah.
So you can't go eating junk food. I mean, take care of the body. It's the only one you got.
Yeah. Okay. Question next from Bobby says, I love the Coil and use it daily. I heard that you could run all the programs on 100%. Is that okay as long as I feel fine with it on 100%? I run numerous programs throughout the day. So for this question, I'm going to go back and we're going to reference one of the things that I just shared here. So if we go back to the Healy manual, again, a document that not all of us have taken the time to go through, and we've added new things every month or so. Something else is added to this manual. But you'll see in the Healy Coil section, it says to harmonize your bioenergetic field, the Healy Coil is designed to use IMF programs at 30 to 100% intensity. So you'll see that's quite a wide range in intensity, and the reason for that is it differs for everybody. And you mentioned in your question, as long as you feel fine with it, it's about listening to your body, not what they answer. 100% for you might be too much for somebody else. So you really, in general, there's a wide range, but it's up to you, and you got to listen to your body to make sure you're feeling good at that intensity. Ken, what else?
Yeah, no, totally spot on there. The reason they're giving you that range is because the way that the coil works is essentially, if you look at the coil and the back side of it, on the green side, which is the PCB or the printed circuit board side, you can actually see a spiraling looking configuration there. There are two back-to-back traces, they're called, but it's thin wire that is in a spiral back-to-back, and they are 180 degrees off, so that when current is run through those spiraling coils, it produces, with the electron flow, it produces a magnetic field, like a radio signal from, say, an antenna from your radio station. Literally, it's a magnetic signal that's coming out, and it's building two very distinct waveforms to create what's called zero vector field, a zero vector field, meaning essentially it's like it would be like a dead zone, so that then the frequencies of that pulsation are embedded in that kind of that umbrella space. And when you wear the Healy on you, you're in the middle of that umbrella. And so you're getting almost like a protective field of magnetic energy. And then within that field, AKA you, is presented the frequencies of the program you're running. And so it's a very cool way of applying these frequencies. And the only difference between, like you say, 0% and 100% has nothing to do with the frequency itself. It has to do with the amplitude. So the higher the current flow, or the stronger the current flow through the coil, the higher the amplitude, or the stronger the signal. So like Jake said, paying attention to your body, because we may not realize the body has a very limited vocabulary, right? It's got a vocabulary, but it's not like our word base that we use. It uses body sensations. So a tingle, a twinge, an ache, a pain, a tiredness, excitement, all those things, the way the body feels. So a side effect of too much could look like, it will look like something you're familiar with, but you will think the causation might be that you just worked too hard today, or you got less sleep last night. But really, a fatigue feeling or a sluggish feeling or even an irritable feeling may be a side effect of that. You've got this intensity too high. So yeah, like Jake said, listen to your body, pay close attention to it, take notes if you need to. But there's no reason why you can't go to 100% if you are, you're not feeling something that is discomforting.
Yeah,
Some people
and
can.
just keep in mind, if you're running it at 100%, you're going to go through your battery quicker than you would at a lower intensity. So just if you're trying to plan your day away from home and without a charger or something like that, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. You should get 3 to 5 programs per charge. I get much more when I'm not using the coil. And if your intensity is high, no matter if you're using the coil or the electrodes, if you have it on max, what that means is you're sending a maximum amount of current flow out into the body or the field. And where's it coming from? That current flow is coming from the battery. Yeah, those electrons are coming out of the battery, and then you have to put them back in there with the charging cycle. Okay. So Stanley says, I have a severe muscle injury on my leg just below the side of the knee. I tried the pads, but could not get conductivity. So in other words, it ran black, occasionally white. And you use the gel, increase the intensity to 100%. Any suggestions? Lack of hydration was not the problem. Okay, so if you're not sure, first of all, if it has to do with, say, hardware, you've got the sticky pads. Before you stick those pads on your body, take those pads and stick them to a butter knife. Okay, so take the pads, put one on one side, another pad on the other side like that. You see, you got one on each side. And the pads are essentially touching a metallic surface. It's metal. Clip your leads to it and turn your Healy on. That indicator, that flow indicator, should go to white instantly. Why? Because, well, you're sending it directly through a conductor. I use a butter knife because it's just wide and flat and easy to show you. Now you know, if you get a white signal, now you know there's nothing wrong with your hardware, the pads or the wires or that kind of stuff. Probably not your wires, but sometimes the pads are an issue. So then you go to the body, and there's a maximum distance in which you can place the pads on the body. Okay, about 6 inches is the maximum distance. So if you've got them too far away, then you probably will never get a white signal. So play with that, move them closer and closer. Another thing, gentlemen, we tend to be hairy. So that's another.
I was just about to mention that, because it's
yeah,
time to shave the legs, Stanley.
Right. I mean, it's just a thing. And there are aftermarket pads. These are 1.2 square inches of surface area contact. Okay, there's others out there in the market you can take a look at. I got some here that are over 2 square inches of surface area contact to the body. So the higher the surface area contact, the more current flow or transmission you'll get into the body. So that's another thing that's possible. The hairy thing is one. If when you've got them on your body and you're running it, press in on those contact pads on your body. Press in, hold them in, and see if that changes the conductivity. And if it does, then that means we're dealing with a surface area contact or some sort of a connection issue with the body. Okay. All right.
Okay.
We're getting some of the members helping us out back there.
So questions, steps to start my new Healy written down. So I guess looking for getting started help possibly is what I'm thinking here. And you really, as far as written down, I think the best resource we might have for someone looking to get started are some of our recorded Healy for beginners and beyond, where we kind of go through the whole unboxing, downloading the apps, connecting to the Pink Dot app and the Analyze Blue Dot app for the first time, doing some of the initial setup on the programs too, and you can kind of see on our screens what exactly is going on at that time too. So I think that's definitely a great resource. I'll put a link into the chat here of where you can find those videos at our YouTube page, HealyAmericas.com, but then also academies, depending on which app and things that you're looking for help with, that's a great resource too. That's just academy.healy.world, and you log into that site. It's password. There's a password to get in, or it requires a login now to get to the new academy. But that's the same login credentials that you use for the apps, for shop, for back office too. So, and Henry just put that link into the chat there. So thank you, Henry. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'll put the link in for some of the Healy for beginners and beyond calls as well, to help you out there.
Well, actually, great timing. I just got a message via Messenger here. Someone asking a question said, on the next tech tip call, could you explain the new master key instructions? And we've talked about this a couple of times, haven't we? Which is, there is no master key anymore, right? But there is a process in which you would log out and log back in, and then using this coding system. There's isn't there a video on that, or not yet?
Not that we've created from our corporate team. There's one going around that one of our leaders around in a different country has created. But yeah, it's on our list to create a video specifically on that new process. Yeah.
So what do you do? So how do you do it? All right. Well, if you're in the HealAdvisor Analyse app, and say you're already logged in, then you're probably not having any problems, right? If you've done the update, then it may log you out and you'll have to log back in. But the login process, when you go to log in, put your username and password in, but it's gonna then prompt you to input a code. We don't have any examples of what that picture looks like, do we? A page, I don't have it.
Of what the code looks like?
Well,
yeah, I do. I'll pull it up here and I'll share my screen in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, so anyway, so it'll prompt you to input a code. And what that does is the login process then triggers the system to send you an email with a code. And it goes to the email that is on file. Now, folks, if you've changed your email along the line, you're not getting emails anymore, then there's a problem. You probably will not get this email either. So in other words, things like just making sure your email is proper. If you're getting all the emails from Healy, then you'll get this code. And then you simply put the code in at the prompt on the app, and then it logs you in. So yeah, so you got that picture. We'll show you.
Yeah,
what it looks like.
Almost there. Okay.
It actually really stops or eliminates the loss of master key issues. Remember? I don't know how many people I was on calls with that. Okay, so here we go. When we get to the screen here, on the right side, you'll see this is a screenshot of what the app looks like. It says verification required. We sent a verification code via email. Please check your mailbox. And then you'll see there's 6 spots to put in a number. But on the left here is what that email looks like. The subject is Healy verification code. It comes from your.healy@healy.shop. And then you'll see, hello, please enter this verification code when requested. It's valid for 10 minutes. So make sure you go back to that app within 10 minutes, put in that code, click submit. And then once you do that, instead of loading the physical master key onto your device, it's pulling all your data down from the cloud now that it's verified that through this 2-step verification, your password, and then also this 6-digit code, pulling all your cloud data onto your device. And then if for some reason, let's say you didn't get back to your email for
between 10 minutes and that, that it expired, you see here at the bottom, it says request new verification code. You can click that and it'll send a new code to your email as well.
It's actually pretty easy. I think it's, a much safer way, right? We don't have to worry about that master key, but I think we've programmed a lot of folks.
Yeah.
We're just reprogramming everybody now.
Okay.
All right. So Marlena asks, is there a problem with the Blue app? For some postings, the Blue app asks for master key to be imported, but no longer a key is stored. The app is updated, but after logging in, it asks for the master key. So if it asks for the master key, now I'm assuming you've got the latest version. I have seen some of this happening, that it still asks for a master key. Have you put the master key in and it successfully synchronizes? I would just do it that way.
Yeah. So that is one of the things that could pop up, is that it asks for that code, that one in the new versions. Let's say it asks for that master key that one last time, and then that's kind of the last time that it would do that. The next time you would log out or log back in, that kind of thing, delete the app, reinstall, it would then start doing that 6-digit verification process via email.
Yeah, when there is a change within I won't even call it an app, it's a system. There's a whole system here. The app interfaces with the cloud interfaces with Healy, well, with a account, I guess you might say, not necessarily Healy, but then there's a Healy associated with the account. This is a system, and this system requires certain kind of reset protocols. So like Jake said, when you log out of your HealAdvisor Analyse app and you go back to log back in, and you see the same screen of, import master key or reset cloud account. Okay, well, that just means do that. And then you'll get back in the same way. But that sends a signal to the system to say that that's been done, and try it again. Log out and log back in, see what happens. And then you may be back into the code system. Okay.
Okay. Any update on when the MagHealy will start shipping here in the US? So I'll take this question. And we have, so our shipment, we're expecting anybody that's used the Heal Olympics, earned a discount via the Heal Olympics. We're expecting all those orders to be shipped out by this coming Monday. So the shipment is it's in Utah. It's actually supposed to be delivered tomorrow. And then we're going to get everything received in, and then all those pending orders are going to go right back out right away. And then tomorrow, we're going to announce when MagHealy sales are going to open for everybody as well, not just people that earned the Heal Olympics discount. So join in on What's Up Wednesday tomorrow at 1 p.m. for an update on that.
Yay. Don't miss it. Okay. Let's see. So Joe, what are you asking here? Let's see. I'm not sure. Please, we have to. You asking for live tech individual? 3 months going through FB tech case submissions, no answer or reset. Healy does not work. Device will not connect. Okay. So that's not normal. If your Healy will not work, will not connect, we need to go back to the drawing board. What exactly? It's, we're looking for the process. If you are, first of all, start with the pink dot. Start with a pink dot. You got the app on your smart device. Perfect. That's the easiest spot to see if you are connected to your cloud account. So if the Healy itself, you received a Healy and for some reason it missed the activation process upon shipping out from the warehouse, then it just won't connect ever. But if you download the app, you've got it on your smart device, and you turn the Healy on, you open the app, and you scan the serial number, and it does nothing, right? If that's the case, that's super odd. We got to find out a little bit further into details of what you're actually seeing. But if it then wait a little bit, either wait a little bit, it'll just show this blue screen, right? And then what comes down is a pop-up that says update available. Click on the OK. Or you'll have 3 line items when you've opened the app and it's connected to the Healy. There'll be 3 line items: a blue line, a settings line, and an information line. Click on settings. Settings will open up a spot, and you scroll down about the 4th entry. It says check for updates. That's a manual force feed check for updates. So you're forcing the app to send a signal to the cloud account and verify you. And then it will pop down an update. If it still doesn't, now we have a problem with your account or the Healy not being activated. We need to figure out why. So I'm assuming that you've placed a customer service ticket, or you've chatted with maybe your upline that's that was trying to help you out. Let's certainly get this solved. Okay. Let's see what else we got. So yeah, so Joe, give us an update in the comments there as to anything you've got going on, and we'll get it solved here. Let's see. There's another question or comment here. I say, I have 3 Healys and 3 cell phones. Cannot remember email or password for Healy number 2, so can't use it. Well, if all 3 of those Healys are owned by you on your account, they'll all have the same password. They'll all have the same login credentials. All of them. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the only exception would be if for whatever reason a multiple account was created during either purchasing, in that case, yeah, it's in general, you could have, 7, 8 Healys on your one account, and you would log into each of them with the same credentials. But if for some reason you can't remember, maybe there's one on another account, or one that was, I don't know, transferred to you, you can probably just submit a support ticket if you have the serial number and get some assistance there. But I'll take a look here on the call, and let me see if I can tell if we have if it's just one email address tied to your name, or if there's multiple ones here.
Yeah, and Joe, if you've put in a customer support ticket, maybe private message that to Jake and see if he can look at that one too. So we can try to get that solved. Let's see. Annette says, I heard about a Klarna special through August. True or false? True. It's 0 APR. Right. It's already low interest anyway, but now you get a 0 APR. It's a special deal.
Yep. Yeah. And that's, it's through the normal Klarna approval process. And it's not guaranteed that you'll get approval for whatever the finance amount is. But if you normally would have gotten approval through Klarna, let's say with, I don't know, 7% APR through the end of the month, we're partnering with Klarna, and that rate's going to be 0% for anybody that is approved. So yeah, excellent deal. You can finance any depending on the order total. Of course, it goes through the normal order tiers, but you can finance for up to 24 months for that 0% APR. And
there's a minimum price or minimum amount of financing.
Yeah, depending on the order total, I forget exactly, but if it's a lower dollar amount, it's not going to give you the 24-month option. It might give you a 12-month option, kind of a thing. So it's a tiered tiered level, but if you're buying like a professional, something like that, you're going to see that 24-month option. So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. iPad says, I missed your explanation. I will get the recordings. Healy sent me a new device because of the battery. Okay, so I'm assuming maybe that has to do with your login. So in other words, if you have multiple devices and you just got a new one as a replacement for something that went wrong, a defective one, that new device is still going to be on your account, still have the same login credentials as the others. So should get on, be able to log in the same. What's the first rule of thumb when you get your brand new Healy? Charge it. Plug it in, charge it till that green light goes off. Okay. All right. It looks like Henry is helping Joe out in the background there.
All right.
Awesome. Awesome.
So from Bruce and Dolly says, can't make Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Is there a way to catch the replay? Yes, there is. On our YouTube page, HealyAmericas.com. Also on YouTube, if you're just within YouTube, you can also find that page by searching Healy World Americas. That will come up as well. And typically, so this call, Tech Tip Tuesday, these recordings are put onto that page. What's Up Wednesdays, and anytime we have a Healy for beginners and beyond, we put those recordings there too, along with any of the sort of tutorial videos that our tech support team creates, as far as, how to use the support center, how to reply to a ticket, that kind of thing are available there as well. Typically, that call, the recording will typically be posted by the next day. So like the What's Up Wednesdays will usually be up there by the following afternoon.
It's a great resource, you guys. And Jake does an awesome job of hyperlinking all the content. So there'll be keywords in there. You can go right to the content you're looking for. It's a super great resource. So Shirley Ann is coming back to the question or the comment about the 3 different devices. It looks like there is one that's on a husband's account. Don't know the password on that one. Okay, so now there's an issue. If you have your husband's shop account, you can go in there and you can reset stuff. So you can reset that password. Yeah. I think there's a video somewhere on doing that, isn't there?
How to reset the password?
No, I'm wrong. It's not a hard thing. It's when you go to log in, you got the username, and then at the bottom it says, forgot password or reset password.
Yeah, and there's actually this here. I'm going to post a link into the chat. There's a password reset page, and it differs because we launched a new shop in July 2021, the brand new shop, and we have some people that have, of course, been with Healy since 2020. And maybe you've had no issues with your Healy. You've never had to log in maybe to the new shop since July of 2021. We have people in that situation, and if you haven't, you don't have an account with the new shop. So in that case, you kind of have to trigger that process to create that shop account so you can log in to submit that support ticket. So the link I'm about to post here does that. So there's 2 options. One for people that created their account before July 2021 and haven't logged into new shop, and one for people that have created their account since July of 2021, which in case they would automatically have an account in the new shop. So that link I just posted there. I would try that. If you know the email address, just click whichever reset password link applies to your situation, and then go from there.
Okay, it triggers an opt-in process so that you can get into the new shop. And everything has a security component to it, so make sure it's you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where can I find the finance details? There is a Klarna document under downloads. It's I haven't actually printed it out or looked at it, but There's something in there. What's on that, Jake? Remember?
For the there's
For
a
the
there's
Klarna?
a flyer that went out. So the financing, the actual details, that you're going to go through Klarna to get that details, and you can do that if you go to your shop and then you go to add the item to your cart, go to the checkout, and when you go to pay now, instead of using credit card, you pick the Klarna option, and then there's going to be a little Klarna screen that pops up, and it's going to kind of ask you for your phone number, your information, and it's going to show you what options are available to you if you want to continue to place that order. Depending on the order total, which, if it's 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, and it'll show you what your payment will be over that period of time too. So it's not necessarily, the details of it aren't necessarily built into our website. It's through that Klarna pop-up that comes up when you're about to place the order there.
Yeah, and it's at the very end of the order. You can just do a mock order. You don't actually have to go through with it, but you can actually, it'll pop up that option and you can just review through there, and until you actually do the pay part. It will, though, as you're going through that process, it will create a Klarna account for you, which is okay, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, there's no harm in
you
doing
don't have to
that.
pay anything, right? It doesn't cost you
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, and then even if you don't use Klarna with Healy, you can use it with some other shopping site or something too. So
Yeah. Stanley asks, is Klarna or equivalent available in Canada? Not yet.
not yet. So Klarna will be available in Canada fairly soon. I don't have an exact date, but sometime probably within the next couple of weeks. But it's going to be a little bit different than here in the US, because Klarna in the US, we have the option of pay in 4, which is where they split your payment into 4 installments every 2 weeks, or monthly financing, which is, again, the option where you can finance for 12, 18, 24 months. And again, that's the one where the 0% APR promo comes into play right now. In Canada, Klarna doesn't have the approval to do monthly financing. So they only have the pay in 4 option there. So that's going to be a little bit different. That's not anything related to Healy. That's Klarna with every company in Canada. So there will be an option. The pay in 4 limit's going to be higher though in Canada. I think it was going to be around 3,000 or so Canadian dollars, versus the pay in 4 limit in the US is around 1,700 here. So it'll be available. There's just not quite as many features, from the start with Klarna there.
It's coming. We got to still look at it, folks. As Healy's a startup company, we're still in that infancy phase, and there's a lot's happened in the last year, which is super amazing.
Yeah, another all the questions about Klarna are rolling in. So we got so do you still have the 14-day return option when using Klarna? Yeah, the way that you pay doesn't change the return policy at all. So it would be the same thing, 14 days from the date that you receive your Healy, not from the date that it's ordered, the date that it's actually delivered to you.
Yeah. I like this. So awesome. Henry, thank you for your help. He's working on Joe's case. So Joe, got you back, buddy. They're going to see what we can do with that issue you're having. So I'm glad you were here. iPad asks, what are the best videos to watch about the coach? Wow. Well, in the academy, there's some. I know that we've done some deep dive stuff with actual online, real, full usage of that particular module. One of the Healy board members, Lori Falk, is very passionate about that, and her and I have done some things together. You could go to YouTube and search a Healy coach module, or Monday Magic. That's another spot in which go take a look and tell me what you find, because there's some deep dives we just been doing on that coaching module.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Start with Academy and then branch out from there. So.
Yep.
Okay. Ken,
Um,
it's question for you. For your multiple Healy devices, do you have one each set on its own iPad or cell phone?
Yeah, this is a great question. So I have a little hack for that too, but ideally the best scenario is to have each device have its own smart device to operate it. Yes. And then you can change intensities, you can do things like that on the fly with the separate devices. Now, if you listen, here's a little hack. If you've got the system hooked up via the wristbands and cables, and you go into the app and you start, say, the fitness muscle program, you get it started to set your intensity, and then you would turn another Healy off or on, sorry, and you could close the app, or in the settings you can say look for another Healy, search for another Healy, and it will find another Healy, and you can then activate Healy number 2 with the same smart device. You will not be able to change intensity on both. One will be running in automatic mode, and all the last settings will be set, and that's it. The other one you'll be able to make some adjustments to. So depends on what you want to do. Now you can do that for Healy after Healy after Healy after Healy, but remember, you're just going to start them in sequence. But I recommend having a smart device for each.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So May says Klarna declined on financing. Can we call Klarna to find out why? You know, I've seen this. I've had people with great credit and they get declined and don't know why. But they got their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, you Klarna has a live chat and phone. I think it's 24/7 available on their website there, which you can call and find out. You know, they have their own. They don't look at just credit score. There's some other things. We have the report of someone's like, okay, why? And then they call Klarna, and Klarna may or may not share that information. They from our conversations with that team there, you know, they've created this proprietary algorithm because they process 2 million transactions per day, and they've figured out some other data that they're looking at that they don't necessarily share with everybody about their approval process. So again, you know, I know it can be frustrating if it doesn't necessarily make sense, and unfortunately we Healy can't, you know, overrule or anything. We can't force Klarna to approve anybody in these situations like that, but you can call, and usually they'll at least give you some sort of information there.
Yeah. So Judy asks, how does our commission work when someone uses Klarna?
It works
No
good.
Different. Yeah, no different. It's right. Because Healy is paid instantly from the financing company, which is Klarna.
Yeah.
So meaning that the points and the sale, everything goes through on the Healy side.
Yep.
So
same as if it's paid by just regular credit card. So.
Yeah. So it's the same.
Yep.
Thank you. Andrea says that was a great video that we did on the coaching. So awesome. So if you have the link, maybe you can share it here in the chat if you want. Someone wants to see that. Okay. Well, I think we're caught up. Are we caught up, Jake? I think so.
Looks like it here. So.
Yay. All right. Shelly Ann says, I have 4 Healy and 4 cell. So I'm assuming personal devices. When all are working, how do I protect myself from EMFs? Okay. You know what, this question, EMF things come up so much lately in the last.
Yeah, every week, every call.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of press out there. EMF is one of those trigger words these days, or trigger phrases.
Yeah.
So what's the EMF? All right. Electromagnetic frequency or electromagnetic force. All right. Electromagnetic force. And there are certain magnetic signals that are of a certain frequency, higher frequency in the microwave frequencies, or what we call nanowave frequencies, that can actually, it will travel through different densities. Okay. So some EMF is totally doesn't do anything, bounces off the body, bounces off of walls, doesn't even do anything. Some does. It's the intensity of the signal that's the most important thing. Two things. How high of a frequency is it, and how much amplitude or how much power does the signal have to actually invoke any kind of influence over cell structures? So let's just take the Healy Bluetooth signal, for instance. The Healy Bluetooth signal, or a lot of other manufacturers use this, what's called BLE, or Bluetooth Low Energy. So it's the lowest amount of transmitted energy from the 2.4 gigahertz frequency band, which is nanowave. But it's so low intensity that it doesn't really penetrate anything. And this is why you can't get more than like 32 feet away from between the smart device and the Healy hardware, because you get too far away between the two things that you lose signal, right? And that's how you can tell. If you want to know how high is the amplitude of any EMF or transmitted signal, is what's its range? What's its range? How far away can you get from the source and still have connection? So how many of you guys have, say, a Bluetooth speaker or your earbuds? How far away can you be from your smart device or the transmitter or the source signal? How far away can you be before you lose signal? I mean, some of these Bluetooth speakers, it's a long ways, isn't it? I mean, at 100 feet. That just means that the amplitude of the transmitted signal from the speaker is really high. So it's still within the same 2.4 gigahertz wave or frequency, and it's a high amplitude. So those two things in combination tend to penetrate tissues more, body tissues, okay? If you're trying to protect yourself from EMFs because you're finding sensitivity in some fashion, then whatever systems or devices you're using to protect yourself from the EMFs of the outside world will also do the same thing from omitting or nullifying the signals from Healy, because it's sent out via a EMF. So EMF is not a bad word. It's just a phrase used to describe the way energy is transmitted through airwaves. Healy has inside in the back a frequency transmitter. It's used primarily when we're using the system in the blue dot modality, but it's on such a quantum level that it's really working with the information field. So even if you're using the blue dot system, right, the resonance or the aura, and you're vibrating the signal, you're actually sending the signal to your blueprint in the quantum field. So if you're wearing EMF guards or blocks, it's not really getting to the body. It's getting to your quantum field and then coming into the body. So theoretically, you can get away with it when you're using the blue dot, but if you're using the coil, you can't get away with it. You're gonna need to not be wearing your EMF protection systems when you're running the coil, because that's negating that magnetic signal. Hopefully that helps. It doesn't confuse you more. Okay. Will Amex ever be approved for the US for anytime soon? Well, that was being worked on, but
yeah, I put a comment in there in the chat that it's still being worked on. We know it's important to offer that payment method, but yeah, it's still in process.
So iPad says, if I am running two programs at once, is it not confusing my field? And can I run Blue Dot app on one and the Pink Dot app on another, and my body receive what I need? Sure. So what did I say earlier? Is it confusing the field? Right? If I'm running microcurrent muscle, okay, I'm increasing ATP production, I'm upping the protein synthesis and amino acid transport. I'm doing the things to the cell. Now, with the coil, I'm running strength. What's the coil doing? That magnetic signal is influencing the genetic code so that I am expressing a strong muscle. So I'm increasing muscle energy, cell membrane voltage to the muscle with the microcurrent, but I'm also at the same time sending a coherent signal magnetically to make that muscle strong. That's not that is a complementary system. Okay. Now, if you were running muscle and maybe like relax at the same time, that might be contradicting, but that's not what I'm talking about. So just look at what makes sense when you're running two at the same time. But yeah, absolutely. You can run the blue dot, run a scan while you're getting ready to work out, run what the blue dot is saying to do from one Healy. Remember, that's going to require a smart device because it's a one-to-one connection. You can't use it for anything else. And then at the same time, another device with the pink dot running muscle or whatever your intention is. Okay. Yes. So no EMF blocking close at all. Because the frequencies won't reach the person. Correct. You can remember your phone can be like over there somewhere if you're concerned about the phone's transmission, and your Healy can be on your body and 32 foot away. It's still going to be sending the signal. So if you're running the blue dot, you need to have that one-to-one connection. If you're on the pink dot, even if you do get out of range, the program is still going to run. The Healy has the program entirely loaded and will run all the way through its full duration. So even if you do get too far away, you're fine. But you do need to, again, with the blue dot, it's working with your information field, not quite the same as if you're wearing EMF protected clothing. It's working with your information field. So you're still going to get the information field through a much broader form than it's different with the pink dot. Okay. So no EMF protection with the pink dot, not necessarily a bad thing with the blue dot. Okay.
Ken, we're past the hour mark.
Wow. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for being here. So much appreciate you. And Jake, thank you. Henry, you're a rock star, buddy. Appreciate your help. Don't forget.
Just so I would say no Healy for beginners and beyond this Thursday, but please join us tomorrow for What's Up Wednesday. Got a great call. And for those of you that watched last week's, we had Chad Fisher on and did an excellent training on the bioenergetic defense. And I believe he's back tomorrow, right? With
yeah, no, actually he's not going to be available tomorrow, but we are going to be covering 3 very distinct program pages. So Terry, Doc, and myself, we're going to be talking about mental balance, learning page, and the job sleep page, because
nice.
Back to school ideas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be covering those pages. So tune in for sure.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern time. You can go to the link. Just go to HealyWUW.com. It'll take you right to the Zoom meeting. And again, 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow.
All right, you guys. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week. Have a good evening.
Thanks, everyone.